Welcome to the T-Pac Arcade. Today's game is Shatterhand for the Nintendo Entertainment System. In this 1991 action platformer from Natsume and Jalico, you're a good guy cyborg fighting bad guy cyborgs. Also, you've got 6 shades and you can punch bullets. This game is like 112% cool, irrefutably. Shatterhand has an intro level, 5 selectable main stages, and a final stage, each with a boss and unique enemies, like infantry that shoot and retreat whenever you advance, spiky orbs that drift into you, and turrets that release homing drones. There are also these big, annoying mohawk guys who lob explosives at you if you're too far away, but punch you in the face if you get too close. It reminds me of those machines at the eye doctor where they tell you to lean in and look at the little barn through the eye holes, then blast your retinas with compressed air out of nowhere. I always feel disoriented and betrayed, and I can't stop blinking for the next 15 minutes. The bosses can be annoying too, but they're so cool that I can't help but look past it. One of my favorites was the scuba diver, who has a rocket launcher, explosive sea mines, and a laser sword. A laser sword! It sounds like overkill, but I can't fault any deep sea diver for that, when the ocean floor is full of crabs with 6-foot-long legs, towers of giant tube worms, and anglerfish with so many teeth they can't even close their mouths. By the way, I'm not even talking about the video game here. These are real sea creatures, and they're basically just nightmares with gills. Mr. Shatterhand could handle them though. His main attack is, as you could probably guess, punching. There's also a variety of satellite bots with auxiliary weapons, and they're the key to taking out trickier enemies. The stages all have their own themes, with some really neat standouts, like the laboratory level with monsters hidden in tubes, and the gravity level where you flip between the floor and the ceiling when you hold the jump button. It took me a while to figure out that you can still jump without reversing gravity here, but you have to tap the action button really lightly. Not so lightly that it doesn't register, but also not so aggressively that you flip around and run into a laser. It's a delicate balance, like angry librarians trying to yell and whisper at the same time. Stop folding those page corners and get a bookmark for crying out loud! Shatterhand has some of the best pixel art I've ever seen in a video game. The backgrounds are all full of depth and detail, the satellite bots all have distinct looks and surprisingly dimensional attack animations, and almost every single character and boss rises above standard enemy designs with some creative twist, like the fire ghost with trailing after images. If I could describe Shatterhand's sound design in one word, it would be punchy, which is fitting since the whole game is about a guy who likes punching. And on that note, let me take a minute to address the label art on Shatterhand. You see, in the game, your hero looks like this cool cyborg dude, but on the label he looks like the kind of guy who smells like beef jerky and yells at the TV when football is on. Don't get me wrong, it's solid artwork, but it's not doing the game any favors here. The most novel aspect of Shatterhand is definitely the auxiliary helper bots. When you collect 3 icons, a robot will assemble and flank you from above. It attacks in unison with you, using different weapons depending on the combination of icons you selected. Swords, lasers, flamethrowers, it's always fun to see what new attack an assembly will have. And as if the satellite bots weren't cool enough on their own, managing to collect a double set of icons makes them fuse with you to become the ultimate cyborg of destruction, hurling massive fireballs at anything that stands in your way. It only lasts for a limited time, but that precious minute of overpowered demolition is pure 8-bit bliss. Shatterhand offers infinite continues and some generously placed checkpoints, but I still opted to make things easier with my own save states. And boy did I need them on that last level, which is a long, grueling gauntlet featuring all the most difficult enemies, culminating in a boss fight that took me countless tries to finally win. Remember when I mentioned fusing with a helper bot to become the ultimate cyborg of destruction? Well, that's basically what the end boss is, and he likes to zip around, smashing the ground into fire pits and shooting flashing ring projectiles at you. My favorite part of Shatterhand, as silly as it may sound, was the power-up platforms. If you collect enough coins, you can crouch down on them to restore health or increase your punching damage. Something about the resulting bloopy sound effect and airstream visual is just supremely satisfying. If only real life were so simple. Doctor, I think I've caught the death. Don't worry, just stand over there on that platform and you'll be blooped back to normal in a jiffy. If I could change one thing about Shatterhand, I'd remove the boss rush in the final level. It doesn't even feature all the previous battles, and it felt like an unnecessary challenge to stack on an already difficult stage. That being said, I still liked fighting the Fire Ghost again. He's almost as cool as Mr. Shatterhand himself. Overall, this game is basically everything I could want in an 8-bit action platformer, with enough of its own style and unique mechanics to be a really memorable experience. And now that I know the future is full of robot arms and robot buddies, I cannot wait to get there.